Hello and welcome to a WKU Facebook Live event where we will be answering your questions about the Topper Orientation Program. Now, this is a mandatory event for all incoming students and essentially sets the student up for the upcoming year. You can find the information and even register for orientation at wku.edu/top. But we wanted to give you the opportunity to ask your questions here on Facebook, so make sure to comment those questions below and we will be sure to answer them for the next hour. Before we begin, I do want to introduce some special guests that we have here tonight. They are some of our top guides, which are student orientation leaders. Now, before we begin answering questions, do you guys want to introduce yourselves a little bit?
Yeah, my name is Sydney Hitchell. I'm from Ohio County, Kentucky. I am a senior studying healthcare administration with a double minor in gerontology and business administration.
My name is Owen Posey, and I am from here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and my major is in marketing, and then my minor is in digital advertising.
Ooh, fancy. Very fancy. Not regular advertising, digital.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, cool. So our first question for the evening is going to be about check-in for orientation. When does check-in start? We have several dates for orientation. It's not just one day. So when students come on their day, when do they check in? When is that over?
So check-in will start at either time that you signed up for. It will start at either 7:30 a.m. and then it will be another one at 9:45 a.m. Check-in usually lasts for about 30 minutes, but we highly recommend that you get there around 7:30 or either 9:45.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Now, what kind of happens during a top day?
Yeah, so during Top Days, it's really going to be your introduction to Western Kentucky University. So during that day, you'll meet with your academic advisor, you'll register for courses, you'll also have a chance to meet with your financial aid representative as well, and have a chance to tour WKU.
Awesome. Now, a lot of students are interested in joining Greek Life, different student organizations. Are they going to have the ability during that day to sign up for one of those organizations?
So student activities will have a table set up at our info fair is what we call it during the top day, so you can talk to them there. However, signing up for organizations will take place closer to the start of the school year.
Awesome. Very cool. Now, students are going to come. They're going to meet a lot of other students on campus, and rooming assignments is a huge thing for students. And this doesn't particularly pertain just to TOP, but it is a concern for many students. If students don't have a roommate that they put on their application, are they given a random roommate?
Yes, so whenever you complete your housing assignment, you will complete a short, about 5-question questionnaire that kind of says your preferences. So if you do not select a roommate, the housing department at WKU will match you with a roommate based on those preferences that you provide.
Awesome. Another question that we often hear from students is, how can a student check what their top date is or when that top day is going to be?
Okay, so they can either call our top office, which is here on campus in Potter Hall, or they will receive a confirmation email about 10 business days before their actual top date, and that will be sent to the email that the student used to apply to WKU with.
Yeah, absolutely. And students get preference of when they want to, what day is best for them for their orientation. We have several days each month, starting this month all the way until August. We try to do about 2 a month. So you really get to select. Now, if you wait last minute, that day may be full. So you definitely get the opportunity to select for yourself, though. First come, first serve. Now, I hear this a lot. We get calls about this question quite a few times a day, and it's about the math placement exam. Students call, they freak out. No one told me I'm going to have to take a test in college. What is the math placement exam? Where do students take this? Do they have to? Do you want to speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so all of our incoming students do have to take a math placement exam. This is not a pass-fail exam. Your score won't really affect you too much. But what this is so that your advisors can see where you're at in math. So we make sure that you're not placed in a course that's really out of your reach that you won't succeed in. Some majors just have to take a basic algebra, and other majors, especially science majors, will have to take a trigonometry placement exam as well.
Awesome. Very cool. If you guys are just joining us, this is a WKU Facebook Live event. We are talking about the Topper Orientation Program. If you have any questions about this mandatory event for incoming students, make sure that you comment your questions below. We are here to answer them, to be of any assistance to you. Now, this is a really good question. Can I bring my mom to TOP?
So whenever you apply for TOP, your $75 fee covers yourself and one guest. So you can bring your parent with you, your guardian, whatever you prefer. And then if you would like to bring an additional guest, that is just an additional $25. And then they will also have parent sessions that day that will be available to them to attend, so that way they're not just sitting around waiting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. When I help with check-in during that day, and I always say, do you have any guests with you? And they say, no, just my mom. Your mom's a guest.
Yes.
You know, that's somebody. Yes. Okay, so another feature of the day is students get their student ID here at the top of orientation program. When does that happen throughout the day?
Yeah, so whenever you arrive at orientation, you will check in the morning, and right after you check in, you will go and take your ID picture. And then at the end of the day, right before you register for courses, you will receive your WKU ID card.
Awesome, very cool. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the Topper Orientation Facebook Live event, answering your questions here. Make sure to comment them below, and we will be sure to answer them. We're going to be here till 8 o'clock, so we are happy to help you. Now, what is the general cost of TOP?
So, like I said, it's a $75 fee, and then that, of course, includes lunch for the day. That includes the price of your student ID and all of the sessions that you and your parent will go to. And then $25 is just an extra charge if you want to bring an additional guest.
Awesome. What's lunch look like?
So that is at Fresh Food Company here in DSU. So it's a huge buffet with all that you can imagine. Honestly, my favorite part of the
They
day.
got ice cream cones.
Yes.
I eat too every top. No judgments. Now, if a student has a major that they selected on their application, but since then they've changed their mind, do they have to change their major before? Can they change their major during TOP?
Actually, right after check-in, you will have the option to change your major and also talk to an academic advisor who, if you aren't quite sure what you would like to major in, they can also guide you in that way as well.
Do our high school AP credits that students take, they'll take dual credit, they take AP, do those credits transfer? And when they get over to TOP, I mean, how do they navigate that? I know they meet with their advisor during the Topper Orientation program. Are you guys familiar with this at all, how that process works?
Yes, so just make sure that you tell your advisor whenever you're in advising, and they will make sure that you don't get placed in a course that you've already got credit for. While they may not have your official transcript yet because you've not graduated yet, they can still take your word of mouth and just make sure that you're not taking a course that's not needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I recommend to students, you know, write down a list of the dual credit classes that you've taken. You'll need where the institution you've taken that dual credit course through, and you'll also need that course number. Advisors are able to look that information up to know kind of an idea of what it will transfer as. So if you've taken a lot of dual credit and even AP, make sure to just bring that information on a written piece of paper if you don't have the official information with you. Now, another question that we often hear is what type of professional staff is going to be at TOP? Who can they talk to? What are kind of the important people that are going to be there during that day?
Yeah, so we will have staff on hand at these TOP orientation programs from most of our campus departments. We'll have admissions individuals there. We will have financial aid, restaurant group, which is who handles meal plans. There will also be representatives from the WKU bookstore and housing and residence life, along with various other clubs. So most of the questions that you have that day, there will be a staff member there who can answer those for you.
Great, absolutely. A lot of people got things going on in their life. They come, let's say their TOP starts at 7:30 in the morning. Roughly about what time do you think that day is going to get over for that student?
So we recommend that they clear their whole day just in case. So your 7:30 TOP may, word of mouth, say end around 2:30 or 3. But depending on what your major is, you may be in larger advising sessions, and it may take a little bit longer for you to meet one-on-one with that advisor. So just make sure to clear your whole day out, because this is a huge priority for the future of your college career.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we talked a little bit about the math placement exam before, but we've gotten another question. Does the math placement exam replace any of the credits that the students may get? So by taking the math placement exam, do they get college credit for it?
No, they won't get college credit for that. That just kind of shows what level they are at for math. So what courses that they should be in for the beginning of their college career.
Awesome. Another question that we have received today is a little bit about transcripts. We talked a little bit about dual credit, AP. It's definitely recommended that you send us your official transcripts with dual credit courses on there, specifically from the institution that you take it from. But we understand that costs money, and you may be currently in dual credit courses, so you want to wait till the summer. Like I said before, just go ahead and write down the institution that you've taken that dual credit through and the course number. Advisors should be able to look that up on our transfer equivalency form. That's also available if you Google it, WKU transfer equivalency form. You can look that information up yourself. Now, can we pay for meal plan and master plans during our top day?
Yes, you can register for your meal plan at TOP and pay for that there, but you cannot register or pay for master plan at TOP Orientation Program. But that can be completed online at wku.edu/masterplan.
Awesome, very cool. Yeah, there's a whole session about all the food. We have over 29 dining options on campus. Today I had some criticism at a college fair because I talked about chicken fingers too long, but I love our Red Zone chicken fingers. What can I say? They're really delicious. A lot of food options here, so make sure that you sign up for a good meal plan that is going to keep you filled and fueled throughout the day. Another question that we have received is, when will the students meet their roommate?
So your roommate, you can meet them the day of your top if you all have signed up for the same top date. There is no guarantee about that though, so that is something where you would have to reach out to them. And then with the earlier tops, they will not even know who their roommate is yet. So whenever you get later in the summer, if you all have the same top date, there is opportunity there. But typically, it's the week of master plan and move-in day whenever they meet them.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the housing, they try to get those assignments done as soon as possible. Usually it's sometime earlier summer that they'll post on your TopNet account who your actual roommate is. So if you have a later top date, you may know beforehand. But yeah, how exciting. Walk in your resident hall, you get your new roommate. How exciting. Okay, so if you are in the honors college, but you're not going to go to the top day, so our honors top, if you are an honors student, is this Friday. If you haven't signed up, that is okay. What do those students do in that sense?
You certainly, if you are in the honors college, do not have to attend the honors top, which is this Friday. We have a lot of honors students who that date just doesn't work out for them for whatever reason, so they do opt to attend different dates. And as we mentioned, we do have dates about 2 a month from now until August.
A good question that we have gotten is about high school transcripts after graduation. And do those transcripts automatically get sent to us? And the answer is no. They do not get automatically sent to us. You have to either go on your Parchment account if your school uses Parchment, or get in contact with your guidance counselor and make sure that they send us your final high school transcript. You need to make sure that you have 2 things: your graduation date on that transcript, and you also need to make sure that you have no work in progress courses on there for us to accept it as official. If you are using Parchment, just a note, it is free up until about July. So the earlier you send us those final high school transcripts, the better. It's free. That means it's better. You don't want to wait too long and have to pay to send that transcript. If we do not receive your final high school transcript, fall semester, you will be having a hold on your account, so you won't be able to register for classes until we get that final high school transcript in. Now, do I have to pay any sort of deposit before attending a top date? I say I, like I'm going back to college. Do students have to pay this?
So the one-time top fee is actually required to be paid in full before the top date. So make sure that you either call our office or do it on TopNet, or you can go to wku.edu/top and you can pay for your fee there. Okay. The only thing that you can pay for the day of your top is that additional guest. If you end up bringing an additional guest that day, you can pay the additional $25 then.
Okay, awesome. A very interesting question that we just received. A student that is in band, do they tell their advisor that they want to register for a specific class during top? Do you guys know this answer?
So whenever they're in band, their advisor should know beforehand, and that should be the type of college that they are in. WKU is made up of different colleges, so the band would be in one of those. So just make sure that you emphasize that when you're meeting with their advisor, even if they may already know it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, there's also extracurricular band too, and I believe students don't have to be a music major or in that music to be in band either. But yeah, you want to make sure that you vocalize with your advisor and let them know. If you're quiet, they're not going to know sort of what your expectations are for that fall semester. Absolutely. Yeah. So what is going to be covered during TOP? It's a full day. What are some of the highlights of what's going to happen during that day?
Yeah, so during orientation, you will meet with basically every single department that you're going to need to in order to start your college career. So you will get information on parking and transportation, restaurant group, so meal plans, housing, master plan. You'll get information on our Colonnade program. So you will get information on basically every single topic that you're going to need to succeed in college during this day.
Absolutely. Study abroad available? Do they have a session during that day at all?
I'm not for sure if they're set up at the info fair or not, but if you come on a Friday, their office will be open. And then we, of course, in our top sessions, have their contact information available for you. And then you can, of course, look them up on the WKU website as well.
Yeah. And if study abroad is something that really intrigues you and that's something that is a priority for you while you're in college, which I definitely recommend. I went to Paris, I ate a lot of croissants. It was awesome. Definitely recommend students to study abroad. Our recommendation is your first semester here on campus, just go ahead and stop by the study abroad office. There's also study abroad fairs during the fall semester that you can attend and kind of map out when study abroad is the best time for you to go on your program. So a lot of opportunities for study abroad if they don't go too in-depth during that top day. A really good question that a lot of students are asking is, what do students need to bring to their top day?
Yeah. So all the materials that you need for top orientation program are going to be provided to you upon check-in that morning. So you absolutely do not need to bring anything. With the $75 you pay for top, that also includes lunch. So you don't even need to bring money for lunch when you come.
Awesome, very cool. And now during TOP, we have course registration, so that's going to get you set up for the next semester. During that process of getting registered, who's going to be in the room?
So this is whenever you break up into your individual colleges, and then the student will meet one-on-one with an advisor from that college, and it will just be them. The room may be full of students with the same major in that same college, but they will actually have time to meet one-on-one with that advisor.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to prepare you now, we try not to have parents in the room with students. We try to have this to be an independent experience. It's definitely something, parents can wait afterwards when students come out of that advising session if they want to look at that schedule before they leave. But we do ask that parents kind of hang out, do their own informational sessions during that registration process. Now, if a student doesn't have a final high school transcript, can they sign up for classes during their top day, or is there going to be a hold during their top day? Obviously, students are still in high school, so they're not going to have that final high school transcript. Is there going to be a hold on their account?
Yes, you can certainly still register for classes. Our orientations start this Friday, so we will have orientations happening when students haven't yet graduated, so they will still have the opportunity to register for their courses with their advisor during their top day.
And students, they can register, throughout the entire summer for that fall semester without that final high school transcript. There's going to be a hold put on your account during the fall semester for your spring classes if we don't receive that final high school transcript. So definitely you do not need to worry about that final high school transcript for TOP just once you come to WKU prior to you starting here in the fall. Now, who can students chat with during the info fair? There's a lot of tables available. Who are sort of the main key people that are going to be there at the info fair?
So whenever you're coming to campus for your freshman year, you clearly have a lot of questions. So dining will be there, housing and residence life, parking and transportation, and then housing and residence life also holds the master plan program. So you can talk to them all there. And I know that, for example, the dining services will allow you to buy like meal plans there. But other than that, you will have to do the rest of that on TopNet or through their website.
Yeah, absolutely. A really good question that we've received is some students are interested in double a major, and that's fantastic. That's awesome. During the TOP event, how does that work for those students?
So whenever you have a double major, it sort of works as if you have a major with a minor. So for example, I'm a marketing major and a digital advertising minor. So I have an advisor within the business college, and I also have an advisor within Potter College of the Arts. So you will basically, I know you will for sure meet with one, and they can direct you in the right area. But just contact your top guide and that advisor as well, and they will lead you in the right direction with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And for that first semester here at Top, if you are planning on double majoring, you'll start with one. And then after you start the semester, then you can go on your TopNet account and add that second major. And then while you're here on campus, you'll be able to meet with that advisor to make sure that you're set up for your plan throughout your 4 years here on campus. Now, will the advisor at Top be the same advisor that those students work with all 4 years here on campus?
For me, it was not. I had a specific advisor whenever I was in my pre-program, so while I was completing those general education requirements. And then once I actually got into my major program, I switched to an advisor that was within that specific program, whereas before it was an advisor from the general college, which in my case is the College of Health and Human Services.
Good, awesome. Now, if students decide they want to wait a little bit longer to do their top, maybe they haven't decided yet, maybe they've got a lot of things going on, they wait until, say, August to do their top orientation program, are classes at all going to fill up?
So whenever you come to a later top, you're still going to have the exact same access to classes as freshmen who come in March. Whenever you come, you're going to be registering for our Colonnade courses and maybe a few courses within your major. So you will for sure be able to get into courses, and you will be able to get into those same courses because there's so many of them offered for incoming freshmen.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are just joining us, this is a WKU Facebook Live event. We are talking about the Topper Orientation Program, and we are answering your questions. So if you have any, please feel free to comment them below in the comment box, and we will be happy to answer them. A very good question that students often ask is, what do parents do during top?
Yes, so while we have sessions during the day for the students, we also have sessions going at the exact same time for parents. So parents also have an opportunity to go to sessions that are geared towards parking and transportation, meals, master plan, but they are presented from a more parent side of things versus where the student is really focusing on the student's experience during college.
Yeah, awesome. Now I want to bring it back to the conversation about advisors because I mean, obviously that's a huge priority for students. Do they meet with a specific advisor from a specific college, or is it sort of just a general advisor for the entire university?
So whenever you are assigned a major, you are meeting with an advisor from one of the colleges here on campus. So you will have a specific advisor within that college. If you are coming into the university with an undeclared major, you will meet with an advisor from AARC.
Okay.
And then whenever you declare that major, they will direct you towards a new advisor once you declare that major.
So during, if they are undecided when they're at top, they'll just sort of meet with a general advisor for the university then.
And that's when we'll get you scheduled within those Colonnade courses, and then we have a course named University Experience, and then there are different branches of that within the colleges here on campus. So if you have an area you want to focus on, you can do that as well and kind of see if that is something you might want to go into.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's, you know, it's not a for sure thing that you have to come here and you have to have a major picked out right away when you're on campus. I believe the statistic is something like 70% of students change their major when they're here in college.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
Multiple times.
Yeah, so we always say to students, if you're not 100% sure, please do not feel pressure to just pick something. It's a long list, and I know that can feel kind of daunting, but it is okay to select exploratory. We try not to say undecided. We think that's rude. We like exploratory. We want people to feel like they can explore their options. Absolutely. So now another question about getting registered for classes is, are those advisors mindful of the time period between classes, right? We have a giant hill. I don't know if you're aware. We're called the Hilltoppers, and that thing is hefty to get up for. Tip, take the bus, because my freshman year I was like, I'm going to walk up this hill, and then I was like, I'm going to take the bus. So definitely take the bus. But, you know, there's only 15 minutes between a lot of classes. Are advisors kind of mindful of that?
Yes, advisors are always going to be mindful of that time difference and making sure you can get to your classes with time to spare. And then also, whenever you finish up your orientation at the end of the day, there will be a top guide who checks you out of orientation, and they will go over your schedule once again just to make sure there weren't any oversights on that part, that you do have enough time to get to all of your courses.
Awesome. Now here is a question that's related to this. Can freshmen bring their car to our campus?
Yes, all students are welcome to bring their car to campus. And we have parking passes depending on where your residence hall is. So once you get your rooming assignment, you can actually purchase that. So that's one thing to remember, that you cannot purchase your parking pass until you have your rooming assignment.
Awesome. And parking and transportation, they're there that day. They're
Right.
available to meet with people and yeah.
And then we do have very cool free car programs where you don't bring your car to campus. So that is something that if you're from farther away, you might want to discuss with parking and transportation, because they have some very cool benefits that come with that.
Yeah, I know they have like a really deeply discounted deal with Enterprise where students for a really good price can rent a car for a day, they can rent a car for the weekend, and it's a really, really good price.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're not 100% sure about bringing your car, definitely talk about those incentive programs with our Enterprise partners. Absolutely. Now, I will say, if you are bringing your car to campus, do not expect that you'll be able to take your car from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill for your class. Most of our parking is towards the bottom and the middle of the hill, so taking that bus may be daunting, but it's definitely worth it in the long run.
Yes.
Now, will the advisor that students meet with, and we've talked a little bit about this, but I just want to reiterate again, are they going to be focused within a particular major, or are they more specific towards just a department?
So your advisor is going to be focused on the college that you are in. So for example, the Gordon Ford College of Business has 4 advisors, and they have knowledge of all of the majors that we have.
Awesome. Yeah, I try to say to students, because it's kind of confusing. I'm like, wait, I thought I was going to college. What do you mean there's different colleges? I think of it like Hogwarts. Okay, so like Hogwarts is WKU. Gryffindor is like the Gordon
Right.
Ford College of Business. I think that way is probably the easiest way to
Yes.
understand it for sure. Now, how spaced out are classes usually?
Yes, so there are 15 minutes in between all of our classes. So that gives you ample time to make sure that you can get to your next course and be ready for it to begin.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing it back to the parents, are parents required to come to TOP, or can a kid just kind of be independent and go on their own?
Parents are not required to come to TOP, but they are highly recommended to come. Because while this is a big step within the student's life coming to college, it is also a huge step with a parent as well. And the sessions that the parents go to during the day are very beneficial to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good day for parents to learn a lot about the different programs that we have for them. We have parental support organizations that allow parents to be involved with their students' education without kind of hovering. So it's a good informational day for them if they're available, for sure. A lot of students also, when they're in high school, I'm shifting gears now back to the classes, we're kind of all over, is dual credit. So a lot of students take dual credit classes. Is that going to affect them scheduling classes at all when they're at TOP?
That will not affect how you're scheduling courses. Once again, just bring a list of those dual credit or AP courses you might be taking so that your advisor is aware of those whenever you're registering.
Yeah, absolutely. And we get a really common question, which is, will all my credits transfer? And the simple answer to that is, it's not will they transfer, it's will they transfer to my degree program or my general education program. There are very specific requirements for both our Colonnade, which is general education program, and also whatever your major is. So most likely that credit will transfer. You will receive credit for that course, but it may not be a requirement for either general education or your major. So that's really where the Transfer Center kind of looks through your transcript and determines what that credit will go towards. Now, do we go over housing during TOP?
So you're going to go to an individual session, the student will, and that'll be with a TOP guide like Sydney and I. And we're going to go over everything you could possibly think of. We're just going to throw it all at you at once. We're going to talk about financial aid. We're going to talk about housing, parking and transportation, student activities, dining, all of it. And then if you have any questions, we'll of course be there to help you with that.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to go see them at the info fair as well that day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Will students during the orientation have an opportunity to maybe shadow a class?
They will not have an option to sit in on a course, but you will have a TOP guide, which is a current WKU student. So they will certainly be able to give you some insight. They can answer specific questions about what courses are like, maybe even courses specific to your major.
Yeah, absolutely. A really good question that some students wonder is, do all the classes that they have in a semester end up being in one building?
Right. So with your classes, if you're taking business classes or science classes, they will be spread out. We have different parts of the hill where our colleges are separated. So, for example, your general education classes are going to be in Cherry Hall or within FAC, where your business classes or your science classes will be in Snell Hall, or they will be in the Grice Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly by the time you become a junior and a senior, you're going to be mostly focused on those major courses, maybe a few general education courses here. I think when I was a senior, most of my courses were in the business building. I think I had maybe one class at the top of the hill. Yeah, absolutely. So that was definitely convenient for sure. Where can students during top, maybe just general over the summer, where can students go if they have financial aid questions?
Yeah, so you will have an opportunity. Your top guide will be giving you some information on financial aid, but you will also have the opportunity later in the day to meet one-on-one with a financial aid counselor. So you have a chance to get those specific questions answered. And certainly if you do not get those questions answered at your top date, then our financial aid office is open for any questions you might have and willing to take your calls or emails.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to shift gears a little bit about academic support. We have some students who are curious about what types of services we offer with students with disabilities. Are you guys familiar at all with that? Yeah.
Yes. So we do have the Student Accessibility Resource Center, SARC, which is located in Downing Student Union, and they can help you with any accommodations you might need in or out of the classroom. So if you have any questions about disabilities or getting accommodations for those, just contact Student Accessibility Resource Center.
Absolutely. If you're just joining us, we are talking about the Topper Orientation Program. We are answering your questions, so make sure to comment them below. We will be sure to answer them. A very important question. I like this person's priorities. Are we going to have lunch during TOP?
Yes, so you will have a dedicated time. You will have the info fair and lunch, and you can pick which order you do that in. So you can go to lunch first, or you can do the info fair first. And you will go to lunch, which is our buffet-style restaurant here on campus, Fresh Food Company.
Yes, absolutely. I hope they have corn dogs this weekend.
And they do also have accommodations for people with dietary issues as well, such as gluten-free, dairy-free, stuff like that. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a station in our Fresh Food Company, and it's free from all, I think it's like 9 major allergens. And so it's a really, really cool thing. And we also have really cool initiatives within our dining facility as well. They're really focused on sustainability. A lot of the food within Fresh is from local sustainable farms. So I like eating there because, you know, even though I'm eating a lot of calories, I'm like, but it's like good for the planet, you know? Awesome. Now, during TOP, are students kind of in one building, or are they located throughout the entire campus?
So the majority of your top day is going to be located in Downing Student Union, which is our main student union on campus, very centrally located. You'll actually park right next to DSU in the morning, and then be in there for the majority of the day. Of course, we're going to have tours that you can take if you would like. Those are going to leave the building, and then also some colleges are going to advise in other buildings, but they are all very centrally located on campus, and they will be guided, so you'll have somebody walking you to that building and back if you do have to leave DSU.
So there is an opportunity to take a tour during the day? Oh, awesome. Very cool.
Yes.
Very nice.
That'll take place at the very end of the day after everything's done, so you can kind of ask your tour guide, hey, my classes are in this building. Can you show me where that is?
Nice. Very convenient.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned, so all of the day is going to be in what building did you say?
Downing Student Union.
Downing Student Union, which is the main student center for all kind of the hangout hub. A lot of different organizations are located in that building. So very cool that it's in one place. Now that morning, students are going to come. How early do you think a student should arrive before their specified time that they signed up for?
So just make sure that you get here by either 7:30 or 9:45. And the only thing that you should really accommodate for is just making sure you have time to park and walk into Downing Student Union. There's really no need to get there before your assigned time because we do not start physically checking in until that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And where do students park during the orientation?
So during the orientation, students will park in parking structure 2, which is located right across from Downing Student Union. And there will be signs out pointing directions saying top parking this way. And then there will also be signs pointing you from the parking structure to Downing Student Union. So there's no chance for you to get lost.
And it doesn't cost anything at all?
No, parking is included in your $75 you pay for orientation.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, during the day, are students going to have an opportunity to see the residence halls, particularly maybe the resident hall that they're going to be in?
So typically the only residence hall that we give a tour of is Mitten Hall, and that is something that they would have to tell their tour guide whenever they are on that tour, just to make sure that they for sure have time to go in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And most of our residence halls are set up, the rooms are set up the same, so no matter what residence hall you're living in, you can still kind of get a feel for what it's going to look like.
Yeah, and sometimes we open up a few other ones, but I think in the past we try to just tune in because it's literally right there, so you don't need to be like running around campus. Now it's going to be a day inside. Is there anything particular that a student should wear if somebody's wondering?
I would say just dress comfortable. You will be walking around to various sessions during the day, so I would definitely say wear comfortable shoes, but there's certainly no need to dress really nice, just kind of whatever you're comfortable in.
We're going to shift gears back to the academic side of things. With the math placement exam is something that we require students to take at least 4 business days before their top date. What if a student cannot take that exam online before their day?
Yeah, so if you do not have the chance to take your math placement exam before you come to orientation, your advisor most likely just will not register you for a math course right away for that first semester. You can certainly go back and change that later in the summer after you take that exam, but you just will not be placed in a math course that day most likely.
And the math placement exam, I mean, is it long? It's obviously it's online. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. It's not too long. What would you say, like 30, 40 minutes perhaps?
It usually takes students about 45 minutes to complete the math placement exam, so not too long.
And the goal of this math placement exam is not to, challenge you right from the get-go. We really just want to figure out what math course is going to be the best fit for you. A lot of students come in, they have a 26 or higher on the ACT in their math portion, so they'll receive 116 credit algebra, but we still require students to take that math placement, even if they have a dual credit college course. It's just something that we have a blanket for all students coming in, because if something were to happen, maybe they ended up needing to take a math class, we just want to make sure that we have that placement exam on file for that student. So it's not a huge deal. It's online. You don't need to come to campus to take it. Just make sure to take it at least 4 business days before your top date. A good question, a concerned question from somebody is about roommates, and what if a student enters a situation where they are not in a good living environment with a roommate and they want to change? Is that a possibility?
Yes, so there is a change period through housing and residence life. We certainly do not want you to be with a roommate that you're uncomfortable with. We want you to have the best college experience you can. So if you do need to change, you can just contact the Office of Housing and Residence Life or go through your TopNet account if it is before you move into the residence hall, and then a change can be facilitated through that way.
Yeah. And something really cool that our housing department is doing, and I believe they've added quite a few more, is called living learning communities. And it's an opportunity to live in a residence hall with students that maybe have a similar major, maybe they are, we have an LGBT living learning community, so that's awesome for those students that want to feel in that safe environment. Definitely reach out to our housing department if that's something that you're interested in learning more about. And you can learn about the different living learning communities that we have. If a student didn't sign up for a particular roommate, they just kind of answered the application and sent it in, are they going to be assigned a random person? How does that work?
So they will be given a random roommate, but we do have services here on campus. Sydney might be able to talk more about this, but it's sort of like eHarmony for roommates, like a dating website. So if you're coming in to
but not romantic.
Right,
friendly.
Just friendly
Yes.
here. But if you are not sure who you want to room with, or you're from further away, this is a great opportunity for you to meet new people and truly connect with somebody who has the similar interests that you do.
Yeah. That app is called the Schools app if anyone wants to get download that app. And certainly on your top day, your top guide will actually touch a little more on that app and the roommate process, whether you're going random, whether you are gumming in with a friend. So we'll talk a little more about that on top day, but there's also information on the Schools app on our website at wku.edu/HRL.
Awesome, very cool. Now let's shift gears back to the academic side of college. You know where we go. How long does a college class usually last?
Yeah, so we have some different options. For example, there are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday courses, which are usually about 55 minutes long. And then there are also courses which take place every Tuesday and Thursday, and those are about an hour and 20 minutes long. And there's also night classes, which range in time anywhere from 2 to 3 hours once a week. So you can really kind of shift or shape your college experience to what you want it to be, how long you want your courses to be, how often you want to be in class.
Yeah, absolutely. Personally, I like the 8 a.m.s. I like to get done by noon, and then I can just like hang out for the rest of the afternoon.
Get lunch.
Night classes.
Yes, yes. Well, yes, a good night class once in a while is good too. But yes, absolutely. A really good question, and actually on the top website, we actually have a glossary of college terms. So definitely go to wku.edu/top to find that glossary of college terms. It's kind of daunting. There's like crazy terminology. Sometimes I take for granted how much I know it, but we do use the words semester and term very interchangeably. A semester is going to be very similar to what it's essentially the same thing. So you might hear someone say a start term. That basically means the fall semester or the spring semester. We also have a winter, which is just in January. People call it J-term. And we also have summer terms as well. So I believe there's 6 summer sessions that happen. We consider it to be the summer semester. So if you hear us say term or semester, really it is the same thing, absolutely. Now, can a student reset, to log into their TopNet account, they have to have a password and their ID. Can they reset that password at all?
Yes, so this is when they would need to contact IT services here on campus, and they can find that on the WKU website as well. Whenever you applied to WKU, you got an email that had this information in it. So if possible to search your email history, you might be able to go back in there and find that. But if not, definitely just contact IT services, and they are very willing to help you with that.
Absolutely. I always say, for me, when I work with students and they have no idea what their PIN is or their password is or even what their ID is, I usually say just Google manage my WKU accounts. And the first thing that's going to come up is our IT website. And on there, you'll be able to manage. It will ask for your last name, your birth date, and the last 4 of your social security number. And it's actually going to pull up your WKU ID, your net ID, and you'll be able to reset or set those passwords. And if you have struggles with that or it's not working, definitely go ahead and contact our IT division at 270-745-7000, and they would be definitely willing to help you. Now, on that Manage My WKU accounts, it does ask for you to set a security question. Please remember what you answered. I cannot tell you how many times a student will be like, I don't know, I just wrote something random. I'm like, what?
Yes.
You need to write down exactly what you write down for your answers, because if you don't remember, it's going to lock you out, and then you'll definitely have to go through IT. So, you know, write down the correct street that you grew up on for sure. Don't write down Mulberry Street or something like that. Now, if a student has, let's say, above 24 credits, they're considered an upperclassman, and they're coming in, though, as a beginning freshman, so those credits were earned as dual credit, say. Are they considered to be upperclassmen? Do they get to be in the upperclassmen residence halls?
So the way we do that is you're not going to be classified as a freshman when you come in. You will be classified by the number of credit hours you have. For example, I came in with 34 credit hours to college, and I had the opportunity to live in an upperclassman residence hall while I did not opt to. I chose to live in a freshman residence hall so I could really be with students who were experiencing the same changes that I was, who were really going through that transition with me. So certainly if you have over 24 credit hours or 30, you can definitely opt to live in an upperclassman residence hall if you choose to.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have any questions about where you may stand with your dual credit and sort of what your eligibility is, you definitely can reach out to our Housing and Residence Life Department, and they'll be happy to chat with you and kind of talk to you about what the guidelines are. Their phone number is going to be 270-745-4359, or you can email them at hrl@wku.edu, and they're going to be happy to help make you sure that you kind of understand where you place for sure. How many credits makes a student a full-time student?
So 12 hours is what is considered to be a full-time student. However, 15 hours is what we recommend here at WKU. 15 hours a semester is what's going to get you to that 4 years. That's what we're trying to get you to graduate in 4 years. So it's either 12 to be full-time or 15 to meet that 4-year plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to have 12 credits if you want financial aid money. But we definitely recommend that you average that 15 per semester. Maybe there's an issue, you can't take 15 one semester, maybe you can take 18 the next, or maybe take a J term or a summer session as well. Bringing up that math placement exam again, the most daunting part, I think, about TOP. Can students take that math placement exam on the top day?
They cannot take the math placement exam on your top day. You're actually going to complete that exam online through your TopNet account, and just please make sure you do that 4 business days before you come to your scheduled Topper orientation program date.
Yeah, and if you can't for some reason, and I'm not giving you a pass not to do it, but if you cannot, we just won't register you for a math class that semester, that first semester you're here, but we'll still require you to still take it for you to be able to sign up for a math class here at WKU. So just make sure to take it, and if you can take it before, definitely that is required for you to take it before. Now, can students apply for jobs during the info fair here during their top day?
They will not have the opportunity to apply for specific jobs, but you will have the opportunity in the info fair to possibly talk to other departments like the WKU store, who regularly has student employees, and you could possibly ask them some questions about student employment. Where you really get thrown more into student employment is at Master Plan, which is our extended orientation program, where we will actually have a student job fair, so you can meet individually with different groups and organizations and apply there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take it back to the academic side of things. We talked about, 15 is the recommended amount of courses per semester that we want our students to take. What's the maximum amount?
I believe it's 21 hours, so that would be 6 classes. That is a lot of a workload.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Personally, I would only recommend taking 18 if you're going to do that, but 21, I believe, is the maximum that we're going to allow you to take.
And our tuition rate that we set each year, so we have a full-time student tuition rate. It is a packaged rate, and it's for students from 12 credits to 18 per semester. So that one kind of fee that you pay per semester is going to allow you to up to 18. Beyond that 18, then you're going to have to pay an additional amount. I really would not recommend taking more than 18. That is a hefty load for sure.
And at your top date, you're not allowed to sign up for more than 15 hours, so that is something to take into consideration as well.
Yeah, we want to make sure those students start off with success that first semester. When is the deadline for students to register for their top day?
Yeah, so there isn't necessarily a deadline. We do have dates starting as soon as this Friday, and those range all the way until August, about the 22nd, which is going to be the week before courses start. So you kind of have the chance to register all throughout the summer, and then our final top is actually going to be a walk-in for students for whatever reason couldn't register for a top or didn't have the opportunity, and you can actually show up to the orientation and register for it on that day.
Yeah, and be mindful, if all of a sudden you decide, hey, this Saturday I want to go to the top, it may be full. We can only have so many students, we only have so many advisors. So the earlier you register for whatever top day is best for you, going to be the better to guarantee that you'll be able to get that top day. If you wait for the last minute every date, you may end up needing to come into that walk-in day as well. A good question that we often hear is about AP credits and if they will count for certain course requirements and how does that process work. So when you take an AP exam at high school, the way that a credit works here at WKU is we require you to have a certain score on that exam for it to count for any credit. I do believe most of those courses are going to start at a 3, so you'll have to at least get a 3 on that AP exam. The higher your score is, the potential you may earn more than just one course credit. If you Google credit by examination. I cannot say that word. Anyways, WKU, and you Google it, hopefully you can spell better than I can speak, then it's going to have a chart that's going to pop up. It's going to have every single AP exam, and it will say exactly the score that you need to take and exactly the credit that you will receive for that course. And you'll want to make sure when you take that AP exam that you write WKU down to have those scores sent to us. Now, a lot of them are going to be great for our general education requirements. Some of them may go to your specific major. It really just depends on which AP exam that you took. So we can't just blanket say, yes, it will count towards your degree. We'd really have to make sure we look at what your major is to be able to determine that. Great question. Just to kind of reiterate again about all of the features at TOP. It's an important day. If you guys just want to briefly speak again about what happens during the TOP day.
So at TOP, you're going to start out your morning, you're going to check in, and then you're going to go to the auditorium. You're going to hear words from our TOP guides. Dr. Caboni will be there as well as the Director of Admissions. Then after that, you will be released to your individual sessions with your TOP guides. They will talk about everything like I explained, from housing and residence life, dining, parking, student activities. Then after that, depending on if you are Group A or Group B, you're either going to go to lunch in the info fair, or you're going to go to Advising 101, which will just explain the basics of what your advising session will entail. And then after you do that, you're going to go off to a big room, and we're going to have you in there, and that's where we'll split up into our individual colleges. And then you'll break up into those colleges depending on your major, register for classes, and then you'll head to the summit. That's where your TOP guides will look over your schedules and make sure that everything looks perfect. If it doesn't look perfect or you have any concerns, this is your time for you to talk to us.
Yeah.
Then after that, you have the opportunity to go to the bookstore, take a campus tour, whatever you prefer. And then you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And master plan, they'll have a table set up. They'll be there and available to answer questions. If you're unsure about master plan, what it is, when it starts, they will be there during their TOP day to speak about TOP. They'll be there to speak about master plan and when it starts. It starts roughly about a week before classes start in August.
This year, the specific dates for master plan are going to be August the 20th through the 25th. Move-in for master plan will be on the 19th and 20th of August. So that will be the Monday and Tuesday before your regular semester courses begin. And master plan will end on the Saturday before classes begin, so the 25th. And for those of you who do not know, master plan is our extended orientation program. It is completely optional, that happens the week before courses begin in the fall.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another question that we received is, when is the latest time that a student can send a transcript for those credits to count, either high school or dual credit? For high school, we require you to send that final high school transcript right after graduation. We want to make sure the grad date is on there and all classes are graded, so there's no work in progress. There's no specific deadline, but the important things to consider are, one, if you do not send us that final high school transcript before the beginning of the semester in the fall, we will place a hold on your account for you to be able to sign up for spring classes. So make sure to send that over the summer. If it's dual credit, we want to make sure that you send us those transcripts from whatever institution. It has to come directly from the institution that you took that dual credit. So get in contact with their registrar's office and send that into our Office of Admissions. And we ask for about 30 days for us to articulate that credit. So if you're trying to get signed up for a class last minute, you really want to make sure that you send that transcript as soon as possible. We definitely recommend over the summer. What if a particular class that a student wants to sign up for is full when they come to the TOP day?
So whenever you come to TOP, and if that class is full, just know that there are variations with each course. So when you're coming in as a freshman, you're going to be taking Colonnade courses, and there are multiple opportunities, times, locations for you to take those courses. If there is a specific course and professor that you had in mind that you are dead set on having, just be sure to watch the first week of class, because there is an add drop period, and some students get into those courses and realize that it's not what they wanted and it doesn't fit their schedule, so then you can add that course then. And that all takes place within TopNet as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll kind of learn about what TopNet is and how to navigate that too as well. We'll bring it back to my favorite subject, which is lunch. A student asked here on Facebook, when can they eat lunch? Do they get to choose what time? Do they get to switch groups?
So whenever you come to orientation, you will sign up for either a 7:30 or 9:45 check-in time. So those two groups, they will not really see each other throughout the day. You can kind of consider those as two completely separate orientations. So for example, the first group's lunch period will be the hour before the second group's lunch period. So they will not eat lunch together, they will not see. So you will have your own block for the lunch and info fair, and then the other orientation group, which happens later in the day, will have a separate. So no, you will not get to choose your lunchtime, and you will not get to eat lunch with individuals in the other orientation group.
Yeah, absolutely. So this Friday is honors tops. Those honors students will be coming. If you are an honors student, you can't come that Friday, that's okay. You can come to another top. One thing that they're going to be talking about this Friday is H4, which is a very cool, very awesome program for students to kind of get to know each other off campus prior to master plan. Do you know if those students are able to do both H4 and master plan?
Yes, so the way H4 and master plan works, we work very, very closely, master plan, housing and residence life, with the Honors College to make sure that students can attend both. So students who attend H4, that'll take place the weekend before master plan happens. They will go straight from H4 right into master plan. So you can definitely attend both of those. It's actually required that students who attend H4 do attend master plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you guys do master plan when you were here?
I did
Yes.
master plan.
Yeah,
Yes, it
so
was a
much
great
fun.
experience. I actually won a $500 book scholarship for
What?
textbooks.
Are you
Yes,
serious?
yes.
That's awesome.
It was a great time.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, it's a fun time. It's a really good chance to meet students, and absolutely. So what would you say, because again, we take for granted what I know and what a student knows. What's the difference between top and master plan?
Yes, so once again, TOP is our mandatory freshman orientation, so that's the day that you will sign up for courses, you will get your student ID, and master plan is our optional 5-day extended orientation program that takes place the week before courses begin. So master plan is going to have a stronger focus on your success at college. You're going to learn about topics such as how to get scholarships, campus safety. You will really have a focus on getting to know the people who you are going to be living with. So there will be educational sessions during the day and peer-led small groups, and then at night you will have socials, really fun socials, concerts, paint parties, and you will attend those and really have a chance to get to know the other members of the freshman class. Usually there's about 2,500 students who participate in master plan, so in about 90% of the incoming freshman class.
And in case you missed it, yes, she did say paint parties.
Yes.
Yes, very exciting. Awesome, very cool. So during TOP, students are going to come onto our campus. They'll park in PS2, PS2 in between Diddle and the football stadium. Where do students go from there to check in?
So you're going to come into the ground level from that parking structure of DSU, and then you'll just take the elevator straight up to the second floor of Downing Student Union, and that is where we'll check you in at.
Awesome, very cool. A really good question, and none of us were Greek, so I hope we answer this correctly. Do Greek rush the week before master plan, or do they do it during master plan?
Yes, so sorority recruitment will take place the week of master plan. People who are going through sorority recruitment certainly can participate in master plan. We have worked it out so you can do both, but it is not mandatory. If you are going through recruitment, you certainly do not have to participate in master plan. And I believe fraternity rush week is going to take place the week after master plan, so that first week of courses.
Awesome, very cool. So I just want to end this session talking a little bit about the reasons why you guys both decided to choose WKU, kind of a little bit about your experience. Yeah, if you want to chat a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I always knew I wanted to come to WKU. It was actually the only school I applied to. My brother played soccer on the men's team back when that was a thing. My great-grandmother attended WKU in the 1930s when it was a teacher's college. So everyone in my family has come to WKU, and it was a clear choice for me. It feels like home. There really is an unexplainable spirit whenever you step on this campus. It really is like one big 20,000 person family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, like she said, my family attended the university as well. Multiple generations have come here, so I knew, being from Bowling Green, that I wanted to come here as well. Not only is WKU an absolutely stunningly beautiful campus, the programs that we offer are one of a kind. No matter what college you are in, you're going to have one of a kind programs that are offered to you. And then just being able to get a degree that I'm so excited to be a part of, that is something that means the world to me. And WKU being such a diverse campus
Yes.
and holding such strong morals is something that also stood out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful campus. None of my family came here. I'm from Minnesota, so I don't know anybody that ever lived in Kentucky before I moved here, but it definitely is a home feeling. Even that I live 13-hour drive away from my family, I feel home here.
Right.
So it's definitely a good environment. Thank you guys so much for being
Thank
here and
you.
answering
Thank you.
questions. If you guys have any additional questions about orientation, feel free to contact our WKU Office of Admissions, and we will make sure that you are in contact with the right people. You can contact our Office of Admissions at 270-745-2551, or you can email admission@wku.edu. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.